I've been binge watching a lot of serial killers documentary again. I don't know, man, it's just fascinating. It's fascinating. It's not so much the crime that I'm interested in. It's just it's just baffling, man. It's just baffling how a seemingly normal person like me and you can be pushed to the edge, can be impacted by our circumstances and grow up to become monsters. People who live without any sort of moral code, or people who are very rigid in their moral codes. They have their own sets of rules and laws of the universe that they abide by, or they are just simply lawlessness, you know? It's fascinating how me and you, we are so ordinary, and yet when given the wrong circumstances, the wrong people in our lives, the wrong events, we can turn into total monsters. People who live without hope in the world, without love, without joy. People who just want to inflict pain upon others just for the sake of it, just for the sake of satisfying their own rigid moral codes, just for the sake of, because they can, you know? And there's one particular serial killer that I've been studying. Why am I doing this? It's just fascinating, man. It's just fascinating. I want to relate, not so much that I want to commit crimes myself, but I want to relate because this person was once a human being just like me and you. And something went so horribly wrong in their lives that they become the way that they were. There's one person in particular that came into my mind. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. In fact, I shouldn't even be mentioning this name. Because what we should remember are the victims, the people who have been violated. Those are the people we should remember, not the killers. But then you also have to ask yourself, how can we prevent this? What makes a killer? And people have always argued that some people, they are just beyond repair. They were born this way. They're so messed up that there's no chance of rehabilitation. There's no chance of fixing them. And it might be true. But then, what makes them the way that they were? You know what I just realized? I just realized how much we are a product of our surroundings. How much we are a product of the people around us. Our society, our family. At the very core, fundamental units of our society are the nuclear families. Your family is so important. And from the age of about 1 to 5 up to 7, roughly around that age, that's the most important part of your life, because that's the developmental stage which will heavily influence how you will turn out as an adult. And there are multiple studies on this, how children who were neglected in their childhood grow up to be, I don't know, antisocial, inadequate people who cannot adjust to our society, cannot maintain relationships, cannot form social connections. And you see kids who have grown up in a loving family have more chance of becoming well-rounded adults. I'm emphasizing on likeliness because, again, our society has a big influence on how we turn out. And as much as I like to deny this fact, as much as I like to call myself a free thinker, I am so not a free thinker at all. The fact that I am still obeying the traffic rules, the fact that I'm trying my best not to be negative and not to say these things online, the fact that I'm trying so hard to maintain this identity, to keep my affiliation separate, to not be controversial and not be political, the fact that I am abiding by these laws means that I am influenced by others around me. I am not a complete lawless person. I live in a society and I respect the people around me. You know, you have to have some sort of plasticity and malleability when you live in this society. You have to be somewhat influenced by the people around you. I don't know what I'm saying, man. I'm just sharing my fascination with people. People are so interesting, man. Fascinating. And maybe that's why I've chosen a career such as this. You already know what I do for a living. It's just fascinating, man. Fascinating. There's always new stuff for me to learn about people. Sure, the universe is interesting, but what do we talk about? We talk about people. We don't talk about science. We don't talk about trees. We don't talk about, I don't know, what else? Nature, maybe. But the thing that gets people talking are people. We talk about people. We gossip. We share stories. If you read the book Sapiens, you will know what I mean. This author talks in great length about the kind of topics we talk about as humans. We are interested in each other's. We talk about people. The other thing I want to share as well, a lot of young parents, especially in this modern age, they worry that their children might be growing up in a messed up society, how everything is so censored, everything, well, not censored, I mean, everything is so woke, everything is so liberal. I think society is cyclical. It will go through different periods and then it will return to its original state, and then it will continue in that cycle. Many people have talked about this. People, young parents, I've seen young parents lament over the fact that our society is broken in some way, and that the children will grow up in a world where families are broken apart. There will be promiscuity. People will do whatever they want because it's a free country. There's no God anymore. People worry about that stuff. But man, don't worry. I'm not a parent yet. My parents didn't raise me right. Of course, there will be mistakes. Of course, I was influenced by my friends, the people in my life. I've made mistakes. But then you cannot live in fear, man. You have to let your children make mistakes. That's how they learn. Do not be scared that your children will grow up in a society that will tell them lies and influence them to do bad things. They've got to learn, man. They've got to learn. The important thing that you should teach your children is to be resilient and to be discerning and to have critical thinking, to make their own decisions. You cannot be sheltering your children forever. You cannot be sheltering your children from these influences and saying, I'm not going to send my children to public schooling. I'm going to homeschool my children. I'm not going to let my children hang out with other kids because I want my children to be law-abiding, upright, God-fearing children. I mean, you can do that. It's your choice. It's your children. But I think for the benefit of society, you need to let your children mingle with other children, and don't be so scared that society is gonna mold them into this carbon copy of other children. the children who listen to the same rhetoric in schools and public schooling, grow up, get a job, and then their organization is telling them the same thing. I cannot say this. I cannot say this online. I simply cannot say these things. You know why? You already know why. But I'm not scared of these things. I'm not scared of these influences on society, because I'm not scared of making mistakes. I'm not scared of figuring out what I should do next if I do make a mistake. I can think. Anyways, that's all for today. I hope you're doing well. Stay strong. God bless. The only reason why I'm saying this is because my parents are here, and it triggered past memories about how often my mom would be sort of like a helicopter parent, almost hovering over me, making sure that I don't get hurt, scheduling all of my appointments, talking to all the teachers and telling them, you should do this, you should do that, because he has these needs, and sheltering me from society. That changed when I came to Australia, when I studied abroad, and I get to mingle with the other kids and expand my horizon, expand my point of view, you know, hearing other perspectives, and then thinking how ridiculous some of these perspectives are, and thinking for myself. But yeah, I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal. I don't know it all, and you guys know that. I just want you to take this with a grain of salt. I'm not the Messiah. I am so wrong in so many ways, and you have to go your own path. As always, stay strong, God bless, I love you all, and until next time, peace.